Hello, good afternoon everyone.
Hi everybody, this is Ben Thompson.
Good morning everybody, George Holland here from Canada.
Hi there, George. So West has probably got a couple of different ways of raising hearts here. Balanced, only 3 card support. I think he'll show some sort of minimum heart raise.
Yeah, his options are a little bit more restricted given that it's a strong club, so I mean he can't bid clubs artificially to show a good raise or anything like that, but he's not particularly going to want to with that hand. He'll just bid 2 hearts, I would think.
So this now places a little bit of doubt for North-South as far as no trumps as a viable contract, with the suit only being singularly stopped. But 6 clubs looks like a pretty good spot for North-South.
Two no trumps, I imagine, is a scramble for the minors.
The problem for North-South here is they haven't really figured out. They've got this beautiful singleton diamond opposite the 5 small with no wastage whatsoever in that suit, and that really is the key to making 6 clubs such an excellent contract.
South's already limited his hand to 0 to 4 points by passing over a heart. So in that context, he actually has a pretty good hand when his partner doubles hearts for take-out. I mean, if he'd managed to find a 3 heart bid showing the single and heart over the double, then North would definitely have taken a punt at 6 clubs because he can pretty much sort of count the tricks. But I mean, that was not at all easy. I mean, I think the way the bidding went, North ought to be reasonably. I mean, if not certain, at least he must see that it's quite likely his partner's got a single and heart, in which case 6 clubs is looking pretty good. Trouble is, the opponents don't always have as big a fit as they promised. Just because they've raised the 2 level doesn't mean they've always got 8 hearts between them these days.
Probably good news for Sweden is in the other room,
one of the downsides of the
Lau
strong club.
Go ahead, Ben.
I was saying this is one of the downsides of strong club, that North never really got to announce the quality of his club suit, and South really had no idea that his hand fitted so well.
But I was just going to say that Grew and Lau playing precision themselves will run into a similar problem with not necessarily being able to locate their big club fit early enough in the auction to make a sensible slam try.
I'm assuming that
Here comes
In the last match that I did closed room commentary, where we had Wooldridge and Hurd in this room, the closed room, and Grew Lau in the other room, we'd actually been overtaken by them by board 3. I wonder which board will be overtaken in this match.
2 clubs for the majors is probably most popular amongst experts these days. I mean, it means your partner can bid 2 diamonds asking for your longer suit if he's got equal length. So that's definitely better than using 2 diamonds or 2 hearts to show both majors. It happens in some methods.
2 diamonds just shows equal length in both majors. And 2 no trump by Hurd obviously shows the minors.
That's a good bid by Hurd, because taking away the space for South to identify what his better major is good. It's not usual to see a 1 no trump bidder rebid no trumps without any encouragement by partner, but this is certainly a very good situation to do it.
The 3 pairs with
And 3 clubs and 2 hearts
USA2.
are both making, so it's a very effective bid.
The 3 pairs with USA2 are very aggressive. They don't have many green cards in their box.
An interesting decision from Wooldridge. I mean, I'm sure he knows that 2 no trumps is for the minors, but with a 4
Wooldridge choosing to pass before the doubling starts.
Well, he's perhaps just decided that 8 tricks might be easier than 9. I mean, he just hopes the opponents can't actually run too many tricks in the majors. And also, by doing this, I guess he's showing equal length.
As it happens, that's a poor choice, because 3 clubs is makeable on the double diamond finesse and roughing the 4th diamond in dummy.
And perhaps one other point to passing 2 no trumps is that he's not sure which way round his partner is 5-4 in the minors, so he's hoping that, if he passes, he's shown equal length, and now perhaps if somebody doubled, then they could get to their 5-3 fit in a major rather than their 4-3 fit, and he could redouble, for example, and now his partner can bid 3 clubs or 3 diamonds, depending which one he's got.
This is a losing proposition. I mean, I would have bid. So I definitely would not have passed.
Yes, I have to say, I mean, you quite often see people passing unusual 2 no trump overcalls and things just because they've got a big misfit. If it goes like a spade, 2 no trump showing the minors pass, then they'll pass just because they happen to have lots of major cards, and it's almost always very bad because 2 suitors just don't play well in no trumps. Even if the
I saw Wooldridge play a lot of bridge in the US trials earlier this year, and as far as I recall, he misread the position approximately 0 times, so it's kind of a surprise to me that Wooldridge has misread Hurd's intentions here.
Well, I don't think he's misread them. I mean, I think he knows 2 no trumps is the minors. He's just decided that pass is the best, or at least pass is the best for now.
And these guys make very few errors. Not only do they play in a lot of tournaments, they live with each other. So when they're home, having their breakfast, they're playing bridge. So there's no misunderstandings whatsoever. Minus 100 in 3 of a minor there's no shame in that. And now they're going to go minus 150. And there is a little bit of shame in that.
easy 14-16, no trump for South, but even if you were playing 15 to 17, I think that hand's worth it with 3 aces and 10-8 and 10-9 in your long suits.
Well, North-South need to play this in spades, but no trumps, particularly given South will be declaring
16
in no trumps.
Upmark,
That diamond comes
therefore
through,
doesn't have
they're in
quite
big
enough
trouble.
to invite, I think.
A lot of people might be wondering why North doesn't transfer with that hand, but the idea is if you bid Stamen and then when partner bids 2 over red suit you bid 2 spades, this is just mildly invitational with 5 spades. And that way you can stop in a comfortable 2 spades if partner's got a minimum, or you can get to game if he's got a good hand for spades. So here I say with 3 spades and a small double and 3 aces, even though South's minimum for high card points, I would imagine he'll bid 4 spades. Worthwhile pointing out that he doesn't just pass the buck with 3 spades, which some people might be tempted to do. I mean, these sorts of bids kind of torture partner to some extent, and there's a very good case for saying, you know, you play either in a very safe 2 spades or you go for game, but you don't want to languish at the 3 level because you have to make that on the nose for it to be a good result. I mean, you want to play in a safe part score and make sure of your positive, or go for the game bonus. You don't want to play in 3 of a major or 2 no trumps or 4 of a minor if you can possibly avoid it.
Well, this is a bit of a coup because the invitational sequence puts East on lead. East has a very difficult lead. The only safe lead he has, really, is a heart, but even that may not work. Whereas if they transferred and South played the hand, the 10 of diamonds would take a little bit of pressure off East.
Yeah, it's an extremely difficult lead. I mean, I think he may lead a club, which will be disastrous.
I mean, he looks pretty safe. He's got clubs breaking, he's got the King 10 third spade on side and the King of Hearts on side, so I don't think there's much declarer can do wrong here unless he takes a position in spades to play for West to hold a doubles and 10 or something like that.
Well, he's got 4 losers. I mean, he's got 2 diamonds and a club and a spade to lose, but he's going to get end played at some point if he reads the position. I mean, you see the okay, so he just gives up a trick right away. Now this is an interesting lead. Okay, so he's decided that, you know, South's the overwhelming favourite to hold the King of Diamonds, so he thinks he'll put declare under pressure right away. I mean, you know, if the King of Diamonds, dummy had something like King to 4 diamonds, declare would be very unwilling to play for East to have underled the ace there. But as it turns out, that's pretty much the end of the hand now.
That was not the lead that hurt.
If South had led a heart, then declarer could have put the queen in and roughed a heart and then basically thrown East in with a trump, and he'd have had to lead one of the minors. So, I mean, the game would have made if North had read the position. And I think if East had led a heart and it had proved to be away from the king, then that might well be a sign he's got a difficult hand to lead from, because you wouldn't normally like to lead from a king. So North might very well then get it right.
Good play to take the heart finesse early, helping to decide how well he has to play the trump suit with the heart finesse winning. It was attractive to play spades from the top.
He'll probably cash the ace of diamonds and get out a spade, but he's still going to make 4.
Hurd's going to play Hurd for a club holding. There's no way that Hurd's leading the Jack of Diamonds from, you know, Ace, Queen, Jack without an ugly holding in every suit. So for sure Upmark's going to play him for something in clubs.
Unless that club holding happened to be a void.
If East does have a club void, you're probably stuck anyway. I mean, you might be able to pick up Queen Jack to 5 clubs with West if you could manage to strip him down to clubs only and then play him, but I don't think Declarer's going to worry too much about that.
At the other table on board 18, the north-south pair were pushed to 3 hearts down 1, so Sweden picked up 6 imps.
East-West might be able to scrape together 9 tricks in 3-no trump here by East-West.
And what do you do with South now? I guess you almost have to pass, don't you?
I would bid a spade, I have to say, but
3-no trump would be an aggressive choice. It's also beatable in a variety of ways.
some people, particularly in America, play a redouble of a negative
Hope
double.
the West bid stays.
People, particularly in America, often play a redouble of a negative double to show sort of a moderate hand for about 6 to 10 points or so, and a double and support for partner. So playing that method, Southern might have chosen to redouble there, but I don't know that they play that.
I have to admit that if I was at this table and I was sitting south, I would have doubled 3-no trump. That would seem to me to be automatic for a spade lead.
What does double of 3-no trump mean to you guys?
On this auction, I don't see how it can be anything but it. I mean, some people play that as asking for a heart lead, and I mean that's the only reason I can think of for him not to double. I mean, it does look sort of very clear to double that for a spade lead, but
it's ironic here that on the surface it looks like this has been wrong-sided.
I hope it's like
with
an
West
essential part of the human
clearing.
condition. I'm sure South was hoping that West would bid spades and East would raise, and all of his dreams would come true on board 20.
But as it happens, it's going to be quite hard for the North to find this spade lead. Unless we find a below.
So there's double, guys.
A double by
Cullin intends it to mean lead a spade. For me, wouldn't mean that. It would mean lead your suit partner. They're in trouble.
But Ben, I think the fact that South didn't act immediately over the first double, if he had a hand with some nice heart support and some values, he probably would have done something then. So I think the fact he passed first and then doubles later, it kind of looks like he's got a handful of spades.
Well, I feel vindicated because I would have doubled as well.
I mean, this does sort of bear out Zia's idea, which is that he prefers not to make these doubles if it's going to alert the opponents to what's going on and help them to run to a safer contract. So his style might very well be not to double there and just expect partners to find the spade lead anyway, because he's saying, well, 3 instruments is going to go down, but if I double for a spade lead, they'll run to 4 diamond and that'll make. I mean, he certainly thinks that's very much true when it comes to Leitner doubles or slams. I mean, perhaps in theory there's a case for it, but it does make life very, very hard for your partner on lead.
But you can't take the chance that your partner might lead his suit, and then they have 9 tricks. You can't take that chance, even if they can make 4 diamonds. I think it's incumbent upon you to get them out of 3-no trump in case something goes wrong for your side.
Yeah, I mean,
good play by Wooldridge there, playing low from dummy. He's pulled the jack of spades out of Cullin, and now the triple finesse is available to get rid of the club loser. Desperate low club shift and a good guess by Wooldridge. It's the right play, it's a double finesse. It's going to lead to an over trick, I think.
And now East can say, sorry partner, at the end of the hand, I should have bid 5 diamonds.
Yes, good play from West at trick 1. I mean, that was Billy Eisenberg's bridge tip when all the experts sort of gave tips on one small area of the game back in, I think, the 70s and the 80s. And he said that if you just play low from dummy at trick 1, very often, you know, even if you've got a small singleton or a void as declarer, third seat very often won't realise he can take a very deep finesse against dummy, and he'll put a high card in. And Eisenberg gave all sorts of examples. For example, if you have a singleton in your hand and Queen Jack X in dummy and they lead the suit, just play low, and often you'll catch the ace or king, and now you can build a trick in the suit. I mean, perhaps North should have led the 8 of spades there, but then his partner's going to think he's got a double.
With all the reputation that Joe Grew has at the other table, they're still behind us.
The Swedes lead first, third, fifth, so Wooldridge now is completely confident that Upmark started with 3, so he'll certainly have no problem at all giving himself a shot at the 11th trick.
Yeah, this is the sort of board where neither pair knows whether it's a good board for them or not. I mean, you might be going down in 3 no trumps each way, so you might be going down in 5 diamonds, or you might be bringing 3 no trumps or 5 diamonds in.
All you can do is worry about the next one.
On board 19 at the other table, on the same auction, the invitational spade auction, they were in 4 spades, and they made it for a push.
Yes, exactly the same auction. I mean, I say that this method of using Stayman with 5-card spades in an invitational hand is pretty common at the top level now, so you expect North to play in the other room as well.
So it's 20 points all round on this hand. North-South have got a bit of a double fit going in the red suits. East-West in the
Wooldridge are very aggressive openers.
Probably
10 counts are par for the course for these guys. In clubs they make quite a lot of tricks. North-South can make a few hearts, 2 maybe 3. A bit challenging for them to get into the auction now with Wooldridge bidding hearts. Wooldridge is going to start loving his hand pretty soon. East-West are certainly going to try the game. They'll probably pull back from it, I would think.
Can they make the game? I mean, it looks like they lose a diamond and a club, the obvious losers, but with the singleton heart and the king of spades on side, you may very well make 5 clubs.
Well, if 2 rounds of trumps get drawn, then you've only got 2 trumps in dummy to rough diamonds, so you might have to make all 4 spades, which means you might have to finesse against South 9 of spades. I mean, yes, it looks as though you ought to be able to do it, but it's very fortunate, obviously. I don't imagine everyone's going to be opening a club with that hand. I mean, you'd be happy, you know, it's pretty light, it's in second seat, and also it's a bit of an awkward shape. It's the sort of shape where often you're just going to have to rebid a 5-card club suit, which is not ideal. Hands are not very often passed out these days at the top level, but this one may be in some rooms.
Playing at the club on a lazy Saturday afternoon, it would be fast.
West, he's got 10 high card points and some fairly sharp cards and a working singleton, so if partner makes any encouraging noises, I think West is going to say, yeah, I've got a pretty good hand too.
In my mother's bridge club, this hand would be fast out.
I'm actually slightly surprised that South didn't double a club. Perhaps it's a little bit thin, but I mean, he's got 4-4 in the majors and all pretty good cards. He's got the 10-8 of hearts makes the jack quite a bit better.
He might have been dissuaded from his partner being a passed hand, and he's vulnerable also. He doesn't necessarily want to step into something that's going to get him in trouble.
I'm just wondering if he may be able to turn that to his advantage. I mean, imagine if if East West did arrive in 5 clubs, and it might all end up in a guess in spades as to whether South got King 9XX of spades or King XX, and Declare might end up thinking, okay, South would have doubled with the hand he's actually got, but perhaps that's not completely valid. But
well, there'll be this 5-club game, and I'm pretty sure this is going to make.
I mean, North's job is to go up with a diamond. If Declare, I mean, imagine if we get the Jack of Hearts lead and Declare wins and plays a diamond, North can jump up with the diamond on her and play a club. And now I don't think Declare can refuse the finesse, because, I mean, he doesn't know the spade finesse is working, so. So if the defence can get 2 rounds of trumps in, then we see the spade guess. Of course, taking the club finesse would only be right if the club finesse were right and the spade finesse were wrong, in which case that would give North both black kings. Now, you know, if this leaves the Jack of Hearts, which gives North the King Queen of Hearts, suddenly, you know, Declare might say, well, North's a passed hand, he can't have the king, both black kings and the King Queen of Hearts and the King of Diamonds. So on that basis, he might get it right. Oh, okay, wow, he's let us spade away from the king, which pretty much solves the hand right away.
Yeah, it certainly solves the spade suit, doesn't it?
I've noticed on many a hand over the past week, people leading away from kings has just given contract after contract away, and I haven't yet seen a hand where there was a choice between a passive and aggressive lead and an aggressive lead, and the aggressive lead was necessary, which is sort of quite remarkable. I mean, the more hands I see, the worse I think it is to lead away from kings. And I'm sure South would have led the Jack of Hearts without even thinking twice about it if it were not for the fact that West had actually bid hearts. But even when West has bid hearts, I still think it's pretty close. Okay, now that's very interesting. So he sort of gives up some of his legitimate chance in spades there for purposes of partly of deception, I suppose, and partly because he wants to be in dummy. That was kind of a little bit odd.
Note that really thoughtful play of the 8 of spades at trick 1 by East to keep that 3 of spades in his hand to be able to take a deep spade finesse later on. It's those little things of finding that right pip at trick 1 that really make the expert players stand out.
I mean, I'm wondering if East took that particular play in spades so that if the lead actually was a single, he's not going to suffer a rough, but you surely don't think it's very likely the lead is a single, do you? Mm-hmm.
So having chosen to play on clubs himself now, he's not going to be able to ruff all of those diamonds and is going to need to get this spade suit right for 4 tricks in the end of the hand.
He's going to get them right though, because he's going to go Jack, King, Ace, 4, and then when he goes back and leaves the 3 and the 2 appears, he's now simply got to choose between South having King 9, 6, 2 and King 6, 2, and they don't lead the 6 from King 6, 2, do they?
No, but then we can all tell East how clever he is again for that play of the 8 of spades at trick 1.
USA2 picked up 2 imps on board 20. At the other table, they were in 3 spades going down 1, and at our table, they were in 4 diamonds making 5.
On this very same board in the open room, East passed in second seat, and it's North-South who are doing most of the bidding and have reached the level of 3 diamonds already. And the open room contract is 3 hearts doubled by South.
You mean doubled by West?
Presumably means 3.
Well, it's being it was doubled by West, but it's being declared by South.
Okay, got it. Thanks. I thought you said 3 hearts doubled by South, so that the opponents bid 3 hearts and South doubled. It's early in the morning in Canada, everybody.
So this could be a small gain or a small loss for USA2, depending on whether or not 3 hearts doubled goes 1 off or 2 off, although I guess it's not beyond the realms of possibilities that 3 hearts might make, in which case it'll be a huge board for USA2. So this hand, North-South have got the spade fit, East-West have got the heart fit, and it's favourable vulnerability for North-South here. You'll probably see them just compete in spades at whatever level they need to win to declare the hand.
I suppose the only game Wooldridge might be considering after his partner bids 3 clubs is 3 no trumps, but he isn't going to be considering that very strongly either.
So north-south here, I guess knowing they only had an 8-card fit, chose not to before. Perhaps south fancies his defensive chances here against 3 hearts.
Yes, he thinks he's got a lot of trump control, so he's going to get in plenty of times in hearts. So he's got time to perhaps build a diamond rough. East has only one sort of obvious entry to dummy, and he wants to lead things towards his hand of quite a few times, but he might be able to persuade the defence to help him. And if he can leave a spade winner in dummy, and the defence can play diamonds once, but that'll set up a diamond in dummy, and then if he puts them on lead, they might have to help him out. Interesting decision for South there. I mean, if the coast got a single on spade, of course you want to fly the ace, but if he's got a double, then it could be costly to take the ace. You expect partner to have 3 spades for his 2-spade raise, because he'd often be doing more with 4. On the other hand, I say I'm not sure, even if the declarer does have 2 spades, I'm not sure it's going to be that helpful to give him 1 discard on the spade.
Upmark is most likely to hold 3 spades with 4. Most people would jump, or with a better hand find some sort of 4-card raise. So I think Cullin probably has a reasonably easy duck.
Cullin might be thinking, okay, let's say I go in with the ace of spades now and play another diamond. That means even if East does have a double and spade, as I suspect, okay, he can throw something away on the king diamond. So what can he throw away that's useful? If he could throw a long club, but that's no use anyway because his long club will be good by then. So I'm not sure it was that clear, but I mean, yes, normally you would just duck there.
So if Cullin cashes the ace of spades now and exits a diamond, Hurd is faced with quite an ugly problem stuck in his hand. It'd be interesting to see what happens.
Well, leading the king of hearts at
Play
that
the
point
Cullin to
would be a
cash
winner.
the ace of spades. It takes an off and in play.
Yeah, he can lead the king of hearts, but South will duck that presumably.
But the club jack switch I really can't agree with. It's far too active and it's into the guy who's likely to hold some sort of club holding, and some sort of club holding was sensitive. That was, he had nothing to gain from that switch.
Yes, I don't know why he didn't continue diamonds. I mean, I say even if declarer does rough away your partner's king, first of all he's got to get to dummy to cash the diamond, and secondly, even if he managed to do that, it's not going to help him that much.
He made a good play with hearts. I knew he would lead the king because he played low to the nut.
Yeah, well, South could have ducked the king of hearts, but I mean, South wanted to keep his little trump for a diamond ruff because he still didn't know the diamond count, I think.
I think the club jack switch probably helped Hurd to diagnose the heart layout. Reasonably clear from that Upmark held the king of clubs, therefore South held the ace of hearts. Cullin was likely to hold the longer hearts, so best shot was trying to pin the short jack in North's hand. Well played, Hurd.
I always tell my students we don't lead the opponent's suit. We try and take tricks in our suit. The other table on board 21, 3 hearts doubled, went down 1, but US2 still picked up 5 imps, and in this session they're leading 7-6.
So with the 8 card space it here for North-South, it still seems that 3-no trump would be the superior contract going for the 9-trick game.
Some people might be slightly surprised at that one diamond bid because he does have 8 high card points, and for most people that's a positive in response to a strong club, but North-South play slightly different methods from people from kind of traditional precision. Basically they use sort of what are called Z points. That means they basically count 3 for an ace, 2 for a king and 1 for a queen, and one diamond just shows 0 to 4 of those. I mean, normally that comes out as being roughly the same as 0 to 7 high card points, but these Z points do discount jacks. So when you've got some jacks, you know your hand isn't very good. So here he's just got 2 kings, which is 4 Z points, and that's not quite a positive for them. I mean, he might still be intending to force it to game, but he doesn't want to give a positive because that says you've got better cards for slam.
Cullin Upmark play their own brand of precision. One heart is either natural or like 20 plus, and obviously forcing per round.
Nystrom and Bertau had a very impressive looking option to 7 hearts a couple of days ago using their Z points. That was the good part of it, but unfortunately it only made 12 tricks.
Now they're into a relay auction, and this may take a while. I mean, basically, South will always be making the cheapest bid, just asking his partner what he's got, and North's going to show his shape, and then say where his high cards are if the auction gets that far. So 2 clubs is 5 to 7 balance, 2 diamonds.
So Dave, you had Grew and Lau overtaking us by board 3. Here we are at board 7, and they're still not there. What's going on?
Okay, so they've game forced by 2 diamonds, and now I would imagine it's going to take North 2 more bids to show his exact shape. Obviously South's looking for a fit in a major.
Well, in the open room, Justin Lau has declared 4 out of the 5, in fact 5 out of the 6 hands so far, and I don't think he's quite as fast a declarer as Joe Grew, so that might explain the fact that the open room haven't quite overtaken us just yet, but they will in the next board or 2, I think. I've got no idea what any of these relay responses mean here, but the fact that they're getting through them quite efficiently with the steps here. So first they'll work out, pin down their shape and then their values and then the specific location of their honour cards, and they may well be able to do that pretty much below the game level on this hand.
Right, so 3 hearts have showed his exact shape, so South knows they don't have any great fit. So I imagine 4 diamonds is just a puppet to 4 hearts. And he'll then bid 4 spades over that, which is a sign-off.
Which may not be a triumph for their system, because I think 3-no trump is definitely a better contract than 4 spades on this hand. I mean, 4 spades I think is going to make anyway, but you would rather be in 3-no trump looking at the north-south hands in isolation.
Yes, but I mean, I imagine South is influenced by the fact that firstly his partner will be declaring 3-no trumps, and that's not very good because the defence know his exact shape, so they'll be able to defend well. Also, he knows his partner's only got 3 clubs and a club lead through the ace-queen, could be very bad in 3-no trumps if his partner's got 3 small clubs. And basically, in these relay auctions, the opponents know absolutely everything about one of the hands, North in this case, and nothing at all about the other hand. So if you can get it so the undisclosed hand is declared, you have a huge advantage in the play because the defence is really very, very hard. They know nothing about your hand. But if it goes the other way around and the hand that's described itself ends up as declare, you get absolutely double dummy defence. So there's a very, very big upside to playing these from the right hand. So here Wooldridge knows absolutely nothing about South's hand except that he's got a strong hand that wants to play in 4 spades facing a 3-3, 4-3. What people tend to do in these positions is lead very passively. That's what West's done here.
So I guess fearful of a club rough on here, Declare is just going to bang out these spades from the top out of his hand to avoid the possibility of a club rough.
Well, now it's just a claimer.
On this board, the auction has got very high very quickly in the other room. It's already up to the 5 diamond level with what appears to have been a Blackwood bid by South after spades had been agreed, no trumps suggested as a contract. So USA2 could get into some bother on this hand.
And Frieden is the kind of guy to double. You know, he's not afraid of looking silly. If he thinks it's right or he thinks it's the neat thing to do, then he'll do it, no worries.
I mean, I guess with 22 high card points opposite 8, you know, a few 10s floating around and a fit, it's not unreasonable to be making a slam try, and maybe this is a hand where these Z points came in very handy for
well, credit to the Swedish pair in this room. They used their relay system very effectively, got the news they needed and dropped out early. Wooldridge can actually be end played in trumps to score an 11th trick, so we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, he's so balanced in all the other suits, Declare can come down to a trump-only ending. And he will do. I mean, he knows from the lead that West's got another club, so he knows he can cash this throwing a heart quite safely. Now he'll take the heart finesse. West wins, exits a heart, and Declare just cashes 2 hearts and plays a trump and puts his queen 10 of spades on the table.
Well, the open room has finished in 5 spades, so Justin Lau's declaring that, and has got some work to do to make 11 tricks, but may come down to that similar position to be able to end play West in trumps.
Yeah, stakes a little higher in the other room. I mean, if you play a strong club, you kind of ought to be able to stop in game rather than 5 a major most of the time, but I agree it was pretty hard there for South. Oh,
We've seen that
So we're gonna
technical
get
problem a
to
few
board
times
24?
so far. The solution which has most often been employed is to restart the room. So don't be surprised, people, if the room drops off. But please join us again as soon as it comes back up online. Re-hi everybody.
Re.
So it looks like Justin Lau is going to go down in 5 spades in the other room. So this is a vulnerable game swing for Sweden about to hit the scoreboard. And unfortunately it looks like we might still be having that difficulty re-dealing to board number 20. Okay, well looks like we have managed to get board 24 up on the screen, and I think our operator, who's just aged a year or so in Veldhofen, Jan Nielsen, will enter those results for board 17 to 22 manually when he gets a chance. It seems this problem has been occurring in a lot of the matches, because I've seen virtually all the rooms shut down and reopen. So there does seem to be some bug with the hand data files or the related software when they get to more or less the halfway point of each match, because I've seen this in other matches as well.
I wonder how North got to play this one in spades. You were thinking a strong close system would start a diamond from North, a spade from South, but possibly North upgraded to a 14 to 16 no trump. And then South decided that that was worth going to gain in the 4-4 spade, but they're certainly a bit high anyway.
Well, North could have opened a club, and South could have made a transfer response to spades, and North could have been a spade or 2 spades or something like that.
They play a strong club.
I wonder how on earth it made. Don't you lose 2 spades and a diamond and a club? In fact, even losing 2 clubs, a diamond and 2 spades, seems a pretty unusual result to make 11 tricks in 4 spades.
I think maybe they're just sort of copying board 23 or something, but I can't believe you make 4 spades plus 1 on the North-South cards on this, and absolutely no way. So maybe there's been some sort of mix-up, and this is what they just say. This is what happened on the previous board.
Yeah, quite. Okay, well this looks slightly encouraging. Looks like we've got a new hand data file. The operator's putting the results in manually. I see the open rooms up and seems to have live play coming from board 26, so hopefully we'll be back up and running very, very shortly. I'm still very suspect about that 4 spades making 11 tricks result on board 24, particularly as I see the closed room result on the board was 2 diamonds by South just making the 8 tricks. So I'd ask that our operator try and double check that one if you could. So this hand looks like a 4 heart contract on the surface for north-south, but it runs into the jack 4th heart offside, you're losing the top 2 spades and the ace of diamonds, so that won't make, but east-west might possibly take a phantom sacrifice in 4 spades, so this will be an interesting board. Although 4 spades east-west actually isn't too far away from making, because with the clubs 3-3, the diamond king on side and the jack coming down doubleton, things are all pretty good. This sort of mirrored position in clubs is not particularly useful for declarer. He just can't get rid of the a spade loser or a diamond loser. This is going to go one off. Cashing the heart jack here is possibly just to get a signal from partner, so Hurd knows exactly what to do in this cash out position, but no matter what he does, declarer is just can't make. So as these scores get entered, that score line at the moment of 57-12, I don't think that includes that 13-imp swing that Sweden got on that 4 spades making 11 in one room and 5 spades going down on the other. So Sweden are sitting on a pretty handy lead at this point.
Not a bad 5 clubs at all here for North-South, but might be slightly hard to get there. North might feel that his partner's got more values wasted in diamonds than he has.
Natural 2 clubs should excite North quite a lot.
South may be deciding between a no trump and 2 clubs, or perhaps he's already bid and West is wondering whether to bid 2 diamonds, but I can't believe that. I think West will be passing with that hand without too much problem. Two club rebid is not all that clearly defined for strong club, as most people play that it can be 5-4 either way, because you say with 4 diamonds and 5 clubs, South would be opening a diamond as well. Can't open a club naturally.
If Cullin rebids a no trump, I think Wooldridge will want to bid 2 diamonds. Even if Cullin rebids 2 clubs, Wooldridge will be very tempted to bid 2 diamonds. It's got a very good diamond suit, and even with South having 4 of them, which would be his expectation, he's well placed.
This may actually get North interested, because I mean it's now, he might now be imagining that his partner's got a single heart, which fits quite nicely with his hand. Okay, interesting double. North decides that the double probably means West has diamond strength over South, and that makes his hand very good, so he comes up with a very interesting, aggressive, and probably well-judged redouble.
Yeah, and he's looking at the 5th club and 10-9 of clubs, so he's confident of picking up the club suit. I think he recognises that Wooldridge is having a punt and he wants to make him pay for it. I think Wooldridge may feel that he doesn't like the momentum in this match and he wants to change it, but that double's not going to do it.
I mean, objectively speaking, South would like to play 3 rounds of hearts to discard his spade loser, but I mean, he must realise that West's probably going to ruff, but he may not care. I mean, that'll get rid of one of West's trumps. I mean, obviously he's worried that West has 4 trumps, not just 3.
There are 6 clubs in the open room on this board.
Did North open, I imagine, to get to 6 clubs? You may, I mean, playing strong club, you may very well open the North hand with 2 diamonds, showing a 3-suited short in diamonds, just because the shape's so perfect for it. So if North does open 2 diamonds and then South relays and finds he's got a 4-4-0-5, you can imagine that South would bid 6 clubs with all those fitting cards. I mean, Dakara's problem here is that although he may not have many losers, you know, if he gets too many rounds of trumps drawn, he doesn't have all that many winners. So he has to decide whether to play any trumps at all, whether to try to actually make tricks from the spade suit or not.
If he goes about ditching his spade, he's going to have a very tough time scoring enough tricks with roughs. So his more realistic play to make the contract is to take some natural spade tricks and some natural heart tricks and just a few roughs. So that will mean his better lie is probably to go after drawing trumps.
And he does have some clues as to how to play this trump suit now.
I mean, I think after this double, he might be more inclined to place West with the king of spades rather than the jack, so he may go wrong there.
Oh, he might think he's looking at very...
Right, this is what I expected him to do. I mean, just hoping that even if West gets a rough, that's not actually going to hurt you too much. It's getting rid of one of his trumps. The trouble is that you can't now afford to lose any trick in spades to develop a spade trick. That's the problem.
Wooldridge's safest play now is to exit in trumps. It's tempting to play spades, but that requires really time to have the ace of spades. If he plays a spade now, he's in danger of giving up the contract. He could play a diamond safely enough, but he's got no way of knowing that. Cullin could easily have better diamonds.
Well, you would assume that East's second heart is
I guess his
preference,
clue is that
so
Hurd
showing the
plays
ace
the
of
two of
diamonds.
hearts.
Showing the ace of diamonds, not the ace of spades.
Well, what law says he has to have any ace at all? So the two of hearts shows a preference for diamonds, but really it's just a lack of preference for spades.
Pretty strong method. I mean, he had lots of heart spots there to play. A pretty strong message. He had lots of heart spots to play there, so that ought to be a fairly strong indication towards diamonds, oughtn't it? Could have played the 5 or something. Quite funny, this may well be one off for 400 and 3 imps to north south and the other in for going 3 off in a slam. It's not what you normally expect.
A crazy hand in the final of the World Pairs last year where I went for 600 in a redoubled contract and got about a 75% board when most of the field was playing 4 spades vulnerable the other way, scoring 620. Tough way to get a good board.
Wooldridge certainly should not play a spade here because if his partner's got the aces down, whatever he does, and his first concern is just to beat the contract. I mean, never mind beating it by 2. Absolutely the first priority is to beat it every time you possibly can. So he's surely just deciding between ace and a club and a diamond. I don't see how ace and another club can possibly be wrong. I mean, where's Declare getting his tricks from? He's not getting them from diamonds. You know, if he's got to play spades himself, let him play them himself.
No, what's the worst that could happen? That Declare is 2-2-4-5. Wooldridge knows that Hurd knows perfectly well that the danger is that a spade trick gets pitched on the ace of hearts, so if Hurd had the ace of spades he would have signalled with the biggest heart he had for the ace of spades, so Wooldridge knows for a fact that a spade lead is not the right thing to do.
Yes, I mean a spade shift might be right if...
So this is still makeable.
declarer had 1, 2, 5, 5, and was going to throw his spade loser on the heart, but I mean that's not consistent with the bidding, or the South would not have bid 2 no trumps over 2 spades with that hand. You'd think he would have bid 3 clubs.
Cullin can still make this by leading the Queen of Spades off the board and then roughing down the Jack of Spades, but given that Wooldridge doubled 5 clubs with apparently not much, I think he's more likely to try to rough the King of Spades down rather than play for the short Jack in Wooldridge's hand and the King of Spades onside.
I don't know, it's still interesting. Yeah, I mean, declarer may well think that West has doubled on better diamonds. So, you know, the ace of diamonds rather than the king, or even perhaps the ace-king of diamonds. So on that basis, he might not be so sure he's got the King of Spades.
With ace-king of diamonds, maybe Wooldridge would have exited the big diamond and then see if he could luck the Jack of clubs by roughing the ace of hearts later.
Or maybe you might not want to do that. That might set up a roughing finesse through your diamonds if you had the ace-king without great secondary diamonds.
One thing's for sure, if Cullin makes this contract, he's certainly earned his swing.
He may be thinking about some sort of rough out squeeze on West. The idea being that if West's got the ace and king of diamonds and the king of spades, you... Oh, okay, he's just given up trying to make it. Sometimes in positions like that where you have 2 suits that you're roughing, you can squeeze someone in that they have to discard from a suit, and you can then rough their honours out in that suit. So he might have been considering some sort of plays like that. And I can't believe he just did this and gave up on trying to make it, but perhaps it's damage limitation and he's realised that if things go wrong he might go 2 down, which is obviously a huge disaster. But I mean the swing between making it and going off is so big, you should just be concerned with that, really. I'm surprised he did this. Has he countered his tricks and worked out he hasn't got enough? I mean, surely you've got plays like pinning the double and Jack of Spades is one way to try to make it, isn't it? You know, rough a diamond to dummy, throw the 9 of spades on the ace of hearts and leave the Queen of Spades. And did he really do this? That's very peculiar.
So this is important for Cullin. One off, is going to be unpleasant, but it's only minus 400. 2 off is going to be 1,000, and that's going to be really ugly.
Actually, I guess the South knows that West...
He doesn't have to get it right now, although it's better, but he'll certainly have to get it right on the next round.
And the South does know that West pretty much can't have the Jack of Spades. Double, because I mean that would, well, it's extremely unlikely that would give him a 2-1-7-3 shape. It's very unlikely.
As the great Han Solo said in Star Wars, I've got a bad feeling about this.
With nothing at all in spades, West would have been much more likely to lead a spade after he roughed the heart, because it would be safe. So to lead from nothing through Queen 10, it's only leading from the jacks with Queen 10 in dummy that could be costly. So Declarer might get this right on that basis. Ouch.
Well, this speculative double worked out better than Wooldridge could have imagined. He could have been conceding 750, and actually he's collected 1,000. So very optimistic 3-note trump by East-West in the other room. Very optimistic looking at that 7-4 shape. 5 diamonds seems like the more likely game.
Three diamonds, obviously a sort of a constructive raise in whatever partner's major may be. If he'd just bid 3 hearts, that would have been pass or correct, saying, okay, I want to play here, but don't think about bidding game, partner. So he'd probably have bid 3 hearts on the same hand without the ace of diamonds or something like that.
Yeah, exactly, Bill. Pin the jack of spades. So meanwhile, on this hand, Hurd, I think, should be thinking about a diamond slam.
He might be thinking that his partner didn't double 3 diamonds, and that says he hasn't got diamond support. And I think he'll be considering a takeout.
Yeah, but he doesn't need a lot of diamond support.
The trouble with doubling 3 spades is that doesn't show quite such a shapely hand, and also South did show a raise in either major, so South was going to have something in heart, so he might think the odds are just against having a good heart contract.
Five diamonds is actually an interesting contract. North-South have to defend quite carefully to beat it. They have to catch their spade on the go, and then they have to get a club switch in before the ace of diamonds disappears to break up a squeeze.
Well, spade switch and spade lead and a heart switch will do, won't it? I mean, that just gives South his king of hearts before the ace of diamonds has been knocked out.
Hurd will be spitting chips at that heart switch. He'll be very, very worried that it's a shortage. He'll be very worried indeed that there's a heart rough coming his way.
People will quite often open a no trump with the South distribution, but he's a little good for a 14 to 16 no trump with that hand. So it will be a strong club. And Wooldridge may wade in, given that he's got a suit.
Pretty easy for
favourable.
spades. I don't expect a lot of excitement here.
Okay, so looks as though double was game forcing. I mean, their card just says after a club opener and a high-ish overcall, all bids are natural and game forcing and double is takeout, but it wasn't clear from that whether double was also game forcing. I mean, clearly North thinks three spades is forcing here now. They're even flirting very mildly with slam, but I don't think they're going to go any higher than this.
Hurd and Wooldridge under lead, so the jack showed the queen. Good confident duck at the diamond there by Hurd. He saw his partner's count card, the 2 showed an even number, so he was confident he could duck one knowing that the declarer had another one. Carefully timed there by Cullin. He's got his diamond trick in, then he didn't believe that the ace was on side, quite rightly, and he's timed his play in clubs and spades as a combination very nicely. Got rid of both of Wooldridge's trumps before they could do any damage, but managed to play clubs up twice safely. Good technique, as you would expect from the strong Swedish team. And that brings us to the last. Thanks to Bill Frisby and our 2 earlier commentators who had to leave, George and my brother David. And thanks also to Jan Nielsen, our Vugraph operator, who had to deal with some major technology problems. Thank you, Jan. The 2-note jump is going well down, but the pain will be eased by the 500 collected by Grulal in the other room. That's a pretty good result, and quite some overbitting by Frisby and Plinius. Really? Did Cullin really fail to unblock?
An interesting double by North in the other room. It's very common when you know the opponents are in a 4-4 fit that you double with a single trump, because you think that the hand will not play well, and opponent's got 4 trumps, and also it can make them misguess trumps. Of course, it's not a good thing to do against weak players, because then you might suddenly find that actually they're
Sure,
not in
he
a
had the
4-4
points and the
fit you
tricks.
expect. They're in a 7-4 fit or something like that, but North was fairly confident.
Not so likely on the statement auction.
Thanks, everyone.